Well, we've come to another Sunday in Lent, and the second Sunday of Lent, we always have the Transfiguration. And I have a simple message for you today. It is, listen to Him, begin again your mortifications and self-denials and all these kinds of things that we do during Lent, and press on. Listen to Him, begin again, and press on. So in the first reading, we hear about the call of Abraham, our father in faith, and he's referred to that in the first Eucharistic prayer. And he's called and he's told that he will have descendants as numerous as the skies, the stars in the skies and the sand on the seashore. And Abraham is making a pilgrimage of sorts. We are making a pilgrimage through Lent. And he's traveling from Chaldea, in what is now known as modern-day Iraq, to Palestine. And it takes him quite a while. And a lot of things happen on the way. And we remember Abraham as the one who God called him to sacrifice his own son, his only begotten son. And just before he did, the angel of the Lord called to him and said, "No, I see that you are devoted to me." And there was a ram, a male sheep caught in a thicket by its horns, and they sacrificed that instead, a symbol of Jesus, who is a full-grown male ram, in a sense that from the sheep, he's come to full stature. And then in the second reading, we have Paul speaking to our patron Saint Timothy, and he says, all are called to a life of holiness. And maybe we think about that as we journey through Lent, and we think about our Lenten practices. And maybe we say, oh goodness, Father John, it was Friday a couple of days ago and I forgot and I ate meat, and we're tempted to just leave it all behind. But I say, begin again. Wake up in the morning, begin again. This is what Father Ramil Fajardo says. He's a priest in the Archdiocese of Chicago. I knew him in formation, a very gifted man, and I believe he's the custodian of one of the shrines there in Chicago. And sometimes he's on Catholic radio, and he's a very good speaker. But he will say that, when we get discouraged with our practices, he says, no, begin again. Then in the gospel, we hear God speaking from above. Jesus, Peter, James, and John go up that high mountain. And I've been privileged to go up that high mountain 3 times and try to imagine what these men saw so long ago in the sky. And I don't think imagination could even mildly fill in the blanks. And they see Jesus transfigured, changed in appearance. He becomes dazzlingly white. His clothing is as bright as the sun. He radiates light. And there with him are Moses and Elijah speaking to him. And in the Gospel of Luke, they're speaking to him of his exodus, of his departure from this world. And they're so struck with fear that they fall on their faces. And Peter says something kind of silly, hey, Lord, should I set up 3 tents, 3 booths for you, one for Moses, one for Elijah. He hardly knew what to say. He was so awestruck. And I'm like thinking, did you bring a backpack up there, Peter? You got that stuff in a backpack? I mean, 3 booths? I don't think so. I don't think so. And did you bring the materials up there to make 3 tents like Paul used to make tents? Did you bring those materials up there? Because you're going to need some goats and some other things to do that, a loom and everything. I don't think Peter didn't know what he was saying. And then the vision changes. First we hear the voice of God. This is my beloved Son. Listen to him. This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. Okay, we have Moses and Elijah. We have listened to them over the centuries. And now the fullness of revelation comes through Jesus Christ. Listen to him. And they were awestruck and they were trembling. And then the vision changes and they see Jesus alone. Jesus alone. And then he tells them, I mean, they're probably just shaking like this, going, what did we just see? What had happened? And they start down the mountain. And Jesus tells them, don't tell anybody what you saw until the Son of Man has risen from the dead. They're like, I don't know what that means either. I didn't know what this means. Don't know what that means either. But okay, all right, Jesus, if that's what you want. This is my beloved Son in whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. My last parish in our adoration chapel, we had a perpetual adoration chapel. We had a monstrance and then stenciled around the monstrance in Latin. It said, this is my beloved Son. Listen to him. And it's a message that there he is. There he is in his Eucharistic presence. Listen to him. He has the words of eternal life. So as we go through this Lenten season, we journey on. We are called to listen to the Lord. And we are called to every day begin again. Begin again. And as we journey, we are reminded to press on.